So there's a problem with the Shires, the English Shires. They are full of English people, and English people have the drawback of being Northern Europeans, and Northern Europeans can be characterized by many different attributes. They're often about 5'9" in height, they often have brown hair, they often have about size 9 shoes if you're male, or size 6 shoes if you're female, something like that on average, and they tend to have white skin. And this is the important part, according to the left, and so you get ridiculous things like this. Oh, the final thing is that they also have hobbies. Hobbies is a characteristic of Northern European British people. How dare they? And so when they have their hobbies are often populated by people who are, as they say here, too white, male and middle class, says London's cycling chief, who vows to tackle diversity problem. And even the Independent has got to be like, yeah, problem. What's the problem? Well, there are a bunch of white people on bikes. What are they doing? Riding?
What are you proposing?
Yeah, it's not very inclusive. The Taliban were more inclusive than this. What is going on, right? And so you get literal articles where they're going, look, we need diversity in cycling. If we go to the next one, John. Like, the actual initiatives, how inclusion is being built from the ground up.
During Black History Month.
Yeah. We need to get black people on bikes.
It's like, obviously, it's stupid.
And the thing is, right, the recurring theme of this part is going to be, well, that was always allowed. You were always allowed as a black person to buy a bike and ride it. I don't know why. We'll have to say that, but there we go. But anyway, moving on. I mean, everything's too white that white people do. Like hunting. That's way too white. Look at all those white people having fun in the wilderness, shooting deer or something.
If a black guy tries to join, do they like beat him to death or something?
I have no idea. I assume that there are federal laws that prevent black people from going hunting or something.
Just not able.
No, of course not. And but my favourite one, and the one that we're going to focus on this segment, is the unbearable whiteness of hiking. Just going for a walk.
Walking is a white activity. The black people run everywhere?
And this is just an example from America, but of course the thing has come. The ideas from America from 2016 in 2021 arrive in the United Kingdom. So you can tell that our leftists are 5 years behind their leftists. So whatever's happening in America now, in 5 years' time, will happen here.
Great.
Exactly. So go to the next one. You can see that the Coventry Telegraph is like, hey, we're going to bring diversity to the countryside. And I love the way they frame this. Everyone has a right to benefit from the beauty of nature, but figures show that people from black and minority ethnic backgrounds are less likely to experience the great outdoors. As if this is a human rights issue.
Less likely to experience?
You mean they're lazy? They don't go walking?
It's up to you.
Yes.
There should be state-mandated hikes.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone has a right to benefit from the beauty of nature, as if there's some law, there's a human rights issue preventing ethnic minorities from going for a walk in the countryside.
You know about the Countryside Act of 2010?
No, I don't.
Section 5, just no people with brown skin, please. Written into the charter.
No, but anyway, diversity in the countryside is a complex and multifaceted issue, and there are a variety of social and economic factors that can help us understand why there is a shortfall in ethnic minorities accessing green spaces. But this was always allowed. You're always allowed to just go for a walk. So stupid. Country Live spoke to Steppers UK, a city-based group. All right, I'm seeing the problem here. Right, you live in a big city. You don't live near the countryside. But they say, this is founded by Cheryl Harding, and she says, being a black woman myself, I often found that when I was out hiking, I didn't see people that looked like myself, and I realized the community was underrepresented. It isn't an organization with membership. There is no membership of people who go walking in the countryside. There is no one to address, right, I'm going to write to the head of the people walking in the countryside and say, where are your brown people? Where are your black people?
We don't allow them in the club.
Yeah, exactly. There's no ID cards. There's no way of kicking people out. No one can stop you from going for a walk. Like, there's just go. But anyway.
There is a solution. There are groups trying to solve this issue of our day.
Oh, yeah?
So if we meet one of them, so if we go to the next one here, we have Meet the Woman Bringing Diversity to Cumbria's Outdoors.
It's like a joke. It looks like a brass eye joke.
I know. Like, it had to be someone in a hijab, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Actually, it's not just a hijab. Technically, it's like almost in a cob because you can only see the eyes.
Yeah,
the face is covered as well. Anyway, so they're quoting here, one well walker is promoting greater diversity in the great outdoors. In search for new direction, Amira Patel, who originally from Bolton relocated to Cumbria.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing the pattern again. Living in the city, came to the countryside, and then is miffed.
Yeah.
They can't just look at the outdoors.
Excuse me, there are too many white people here. I hate white people.
Literally.
Where are the brown people?
So
this
she
isn't
says
diverse. This is someone who I think is personally a racist.
So when she arrived, she noticed a lack of diversity on her walks, which inspired her to encourage more Muslim women and other people from diverse backgrounds to get into the environment she loves. I love, again, it's the language of the diversity citizen.
Yeah.
We're going to have diverse citizens and non-diverse citizens.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the world is divided.
Yes.
And she's a diverse one. We're not, presumably.
The English aren't diverse citizens.
No.
They happen to live in the countryside and walk around in it, and that's not diverse.
And therefore, they are second to the primary
And
class.
they're also a problem, and they're keeping people like her out. Aren't
Yeah.
they?
So we scroll down a little bit just to see her Instagram post here. 100% diverse there.
Oh, yeah.
As John
yeah,
likes to say.
yeah.
All for people listening, it's all, let's say,
Women with the same skin tone.
women of the same skin tone, all women, and
All Muslim.
all Muslim,
All brown.
which is what diversity really is when everyone is literally a Muslim woman of color.
But why didn't they go walking with any English people?
Well, it's a Muslims only group.
Oh. Oh, right, okay. Well, of course, there we go. As I said, they are bigoted against the English.
That's what inclusivity looks like.
Yeah.
Setting up your own group where it's
Keeping
just like,
out the English people.
I love it. I remember. I can't remember who it was, but he was looking at like a cycling brochure, and I think it was like Muslim women cycling. It was like, why can't you just go cycling with other people?
Yeah.
And the same thing is like, I can't hike with other people. I can only hike with Muslim women. Right. Okay.
Hiking around, and there are all these white English people around. I hate it.
So if we move on from this, the 100% diversity meme, it reminds me of this. Remember this tweet? Notice anything about this Huffington Post editors meeting, and it's all white women.
This is the editorial board of the Huffington Post, and
Yeah.
man, that is diverse.
100% diverse. 0 men. Therefore, 100% diverse.
It's literally like the feminist Taliban, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, literally, have you got any men there? No, of course we don't.
Why would we?
Yeah, why would we? Yeah.
And I love this, of course, because the Huffington Post is an openly, let's say, racist outlet, I'm going to say. So let's go to the next one, in which you have an example from them. Mike Pence and House Republicans pose for the whitest selfie ever.
No. I can see some people who are of non-white complexion in there, whereas I couldn't see that on the Huffington Post board. This
No.
is the second whitest selfie ever.
Of course you didn't. But anyway, let's go for the first clip.
Initially came to the Lake District because I needed a change from the life that I was living. I knew that I loved the outdoors. I thought I don't want to go back, and I just wanted to stay here. And now I'm currently doing my qualifications to become an outdoor leader, hopefully to do my mountain leader soon.
Noticing a lack of diversity on her walks, she set up a group to encourage others like her to be more confident in the outdoors, reminding them that nature is for everyone.
I love those images there. Like, she's in the middle of bloody nowhere.
Yeah.
And she's like, I started noticing that the people around me weren't diverse. Who?
What people?
Like, what people at all?
Yeah.
Like, you would have been on your own in the middle of some field in some hill.
Yeah.
And you're like, why are there no brown people around me?
But why is that what they think?
Yeah. But you mentioned the cycling, so you mentioned the fact that there was
Yeah.
that stuff. Turns out the journo who did that, the one with the condescending voice there, she actually is probably the one who organised that as well. So you can see here.
Alex Izzat.
So this is her tagging some people. I don't know anything about this lady, but she tagged that person you were mentioning and said, "Hi, would you be keen to have a chat about promoting diversity in the cycling community with London Live? My DMs are open. Thanks."
I think I might know that person.
But this is seemingly
Can
how this
we look at their
situation
bio
happens.
a second, John?
I don't know. You know her.
I knew that person at university.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh
apparently.
dear, she wasn't. I think I'd have to check.
Okay,
but I
but-
knew someone called Alex Izzat who lived in Coventry, went to Coventry University, and
Is apparently the person who's caused all of these stories today.
that's very interesting. I did not know that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, but if we move on
Could well
from
be
this,
her.
just to go to the Instagram page of the Muslim women's group, and as you can see here, again, 100% diverse. 100% diverse. No one but Muslim women of color. That's the only
Brilliant.
people allowed.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice burkas.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on from this. So, you heard about reclaiming the countryside?
Yeah. So finally, I mean, we have to accept that what they're doing basically is reclaiming the countryside from the English. How dare the English live in their own countryside? The shires, as it were actually, originally belonging to other people and needed to be reclaimed.
Belonging to the immigrant population that came in
Yes.
the 2000s.
Yes.
Right.
So as we see here, black trail runners are reclaiming the countryside. I think the language is weird. Reclaiming. Rachel Dench, who is herself mixed race, but you wouldn't know looking at her, and Simbarush Mugoba are trail runners, but they don't look like trail runners you usually see under the open sky of these islands. Yes, that's right, because the trail runners you usually see are racist. I mean white. Rachel and Simbarash are core members of the Black Trail Runners, a growing dynamic collective who came together in 2020 to address the lack of visibility and representation of people of colour in the outdoors. So what they're saying is they just want people, the immigrants to move from the cities to the Shires now.
Yeah, but they also want racial comrades.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like
They're
me and my black
collective,
friends.
yeah. But it's like, can't you make friends with the English who live there? Like, that's the thing. You're not doing anything to integrate yourselves, are you? You're looking around going, oh, God, look at all these evil white people. I better call in reinforcements or something. It's like, what are you doing? Everyone's just walking their dogs or going for a hike or whatever. You're the ones thinking this way. And they say, in the conservative world of British outdoor culture, it's like, what? It's not political in any way, shape or form. It's just people going for hikes. There is a perceived power of the open sky to neutralize difference. What? Anyway, quite often, when subjects like this are raised, white people will say, yes, this is just what white people say. This is what white people say. I'll do my little segment. Black people say, Muslim people say. And I won't be called a racist, but you will. No. White people say, surely anyone can go on the trails. What's the problem? The trails aren't racist. Because they're a bunch of white supremacists.
They're wrong. White people go on these trails and they leave like these little bear traps just whenever they see a black guy.
They're commanded by AI that scans. This shows a fundamental misunderstanding about the way that race actually affects our lives. Right. So there's nothing stopping you from going for a hike, but race affects your lives in such a way that you can't just go for a hike. So the trope of the black person running through this landscape does not really exist. Because there aren't very many black people living there, I assume. The facts that underlying the glaring lack of diversity out there in the hills, the crags and the coastline of these islands. In a recent survey conducted by the British National Parks Authority, though people of black, Asian, minority and ethnic communities account for 14% of the UK population, looking forward to that new census, only 1% of visitors identify as BAME. It's a shocking statistic. Like, she's shaming ethnic minorities for being lazy or something. You don't go jogging. Well, no, I don't want to. Well, that's a shocking statistic. Anyway, if it's really true that the environment is for everyone, it's also a damning truth that so few people from the black and brown communities of this country feel as if they belong in the landscape. They live in cities and don't go into the countryside. What do you want me to do? Am I supposed to go in there and harass them out? Oi, you fat person of ethnic background, go for a jog. What are my options here,
I mean, presumably they want the government to do this as well.
Yeah, state-mandated marches through the countryside for the ethnic community. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see where this is going. This is not going to end well.
Oh, God.
Underpinning the situation are stark facts about historical realities. It's this idea of co-ownership we need to explore. Oh, Jesus Christ. People say about trail running that all you need is a pair of shoes and you can get outside, but it's more than that. But is it? People have to realise there are barriers to entry to the countryside because people don't feel welcome. And they don't feel welcome because other people don't make them feel welcome. I don't know, take the hint. I don't know, what do you want from me? I don't have to make you feel welcome.
What do you mean make you feel welcome? If you ever go for walks in the countryside, the most interaction you have with any other human being is maybe you look at them because you're walking on the same trail and you go, all right?
Morning.
All right? Morning.
Nice day, isn't it?
That's it.
That's all you have to do. That's all you have to say.
The only
It doesn't
rule.
take any amount of interaction, really. But anyway... John's like, the trees looked at him funny. He's like, well, I guess so. But again, I didn't feel welcome. Well, then go home. I don't care. I don't owe you a walk in the countryside. This is not something that I have any duty to you towards. Anyway. The problem is one of access, knowledge, and representation. If we as a community, there's a big we now, can address the visibility and representation of people who look like us in the outdoors, it might help so many people of the historical scars to do with empire and colonialism that make the situation in Britain so specific. Sorry, going for a walk in the countryside is now about empire and colonialism, is it? Historical scars, what are you talking about? People say the trails are for everyone, but yes, the trails are public. Okay, conversation over. Thank you. But anyway, he carries on. But often these trails are hard-won rights of way through private properties, and in many cases, these properties were built up and this wealth accumulated through the proceeds of empire and colonialism and slavery. In the Shires, Like, just as my family have been sheep herders for 1,000 years. Yeah, colonialism, slavery, empire. What are you talking about? You know? The reality exists. Hard-won rights of way throughout England have been rallied for and won back since the Acts of Enclosure. By who? Who did that? It wasn't Tony Blair's globalist colonists, was it? No, it was English peasants who have lived there for 1,000 years. Like, you're acting like, oh yeah, so, us fellow people who have been resisting the Acts of Enclosure. So, is this a we now, is it? Who the hell are you? You're the one who's like, oh, you just don't make me feel welcome. Well, you're blithering on about empire when I'm just trying to take my dog for a walk. What are you doing? Anyway, these are still potent tools of coercion, apparently, and it's impossible to separate the physicality of these islands from their colonial history. Then why are you here? For a person of colour to be traversing these landscapes is, whether we like it or not, a statement of renewed ownership and empowered assertion of a right to exist here and now. So, there's some sort of imperial claim he's making over the countryside.
But, like, this is him making the claim as well? Like,
Yeah.
him going for a walk is him claiming the countryside for international blackberry or something?
And for some reason, he didn't feel welcome with this attitude in the countryside.
Yeah, because you're a weirdo, mate.
Yeah. You seem to be just a racist who's like, oh, there are too many white people around. I need to assert my dominance. Like, what a bizarre.
Power stance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, T-posing all the English people in the countryside like they've done something to personally offend you because of empire.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go over to lotuseaters.com to subscribe to get access to all the premium content we have.
The way the site works is that you have bronze, silver, and gold tier subscriptions. The bronze being £5 a month and allows you to get access to all of the premium content and leave comments on the articles. And we've got a new feature for the silver tier, and the silver and gold tier, which is having all of the premium articles accompanied by an audio track of a very smooth British voice reading, as you can see on the screen there. It's only an 11-minute listen, or it's however long it takes you to read the article. So that's for convenience. So that's for gold and silver members. And we've also got all of our regular great content, which we're all really proud of. I mean, the premium podcast that we have here is Progressing to Destruction, where that's just a lot of work, where it went into examining exactly what the consequences of mass immigration have been in Britain. And this was a great deal of effort to put together, and we didn't really want it being taken down from YouTube or anywhere else, so we're hosting it on our site, and we're very pleased with, well, what is, I suppose, a bit of a negative response, but not because of anything we've done, but because of the facts of the matter, it seems. But we also do various other premium podcasts, like The Contemplations, such as Are There Human Rights? Well, it depends on whose definition of what a human right you are using is. And of course, we do our regular history podcast called Epochs. This week's was The Sea People, the Terror of the Bronze Age. I really enjoyed doing this one because there was a great collapse about 3,000 years ago of the entire economy of the Eastern Mediterranean, and it seems that a bunch of piratical raiders may have been partially responsible for that, and possibly inspired the Trojan cycle from Homer. So we discussed that in that. And of course, we do our book club. For some reason, I decided that we'd highlight the George Orwell ones that we've been doing. So we've got his Road to Wigan Pier, and of course, the classic 1984. And I'll probably do Shooting an Elephant next. Have you ever read that?
Not heard of it.
It's really interesting. It's about George Orwell's time as a colonial administrator and police officer in Burma. And at one point in his narrative, an elephant goes on the rampage in a village and is killing people and destroying houses. So he has to go down and shoot it. And it is an absolutely fascinating look at the sort of colonial dynamics. The reason I haven't done a book club this month so far is because I'm currently going through the Critical Race Theory Bible. As you can see, it's 500 pages long, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through. And there are going to be many very in-depth book clubs coming out of that, because the things they believe are crazy and conservatives need to know about them.
Last thing to mention, of course, is if you'd like to see us live, you can come to our live events. So the one we have coming up, I think Saturday is sold out, but Friday still has tickets if you'd like to come. So we're going to have Andrew Lawrence down as the secret guest for that one, to be the comedian.
Not so secret now.
Not so secret now. And Count Dankula, Carl, and I'll be giving a secret speech about a topic I don't want to ruin now. Yeah. But that's that. But anyway, if you'd like access to all that premium content, please go over to lotuseaters.com, subscribe. Thank you.